What's up, Rockstars? Welcome to an exciting video. I've done a ton of research, hours of research, and many more leading up to this to know what I'm talking about here. We're going to be discussing the explosion that is trading card games, the absolute difference between what is here now versus what is here just 2 years ago. And it's a complete game changer. They're making millions and millions of dollars, and it's causing people to potentially even get hurt. Let's go ahead and discuss. All right, we're going to start out with kind of a video that really signifies what this craze is all about. Now, this video isn't like alarming or anything like that, but it is pretty crazy. And we're going to discuss how this came to be, why people are acting the way that they are in this video. This video was supplied by a viewer of the channel. If you see anything, if you're a part of anything, if you have any information in the board game industry at all, please let me know. Obviously, my email is linked in YouTube somewhere or on my website. But we're going to go ahead and start in here. Before I go, though, shout out to anybody who can get this deep dive music video. What is this video? Let me know. I know what it is because I've watched it, but I want to know if you know what it is. That's a good one. It's a good one. Okay, so this is... Let me explain this a little bit. Stupid autoplay. This is the Gen Con 2023 exhibit hall door opening. This is from somebody who was standing right near where the line was for the Lorcana, like where you could buy the Lorcana trading card game. We're going to get into what that is here soon, but just know what you're seeing here is the people with disabilities. They were let in approximately 15 seconds before the 5,000 plus people that wanted to get in line came in. What you're going to see happen is exactly what's going on in your head right now. And the 15 seconds doesn't even last because over here on the right, you're going to see more people come out and they're just going to bum rush these guys. It's bad. You're going to hear this guy, I believe, or somebody else, I believe, just like cursing because he's getting like pretty much trampled. It's crazy that this was allowed at any kind of event. So you can see they get a brief introduction. They're not even all through and bam, already running, like just, or speed walking, whatever you want to call it. And then now the wave of everybody goes through. And it's a mess. It is crazy. All these people that are getting in line going that way know exactly where they're going. They're going to get Lorcana or try to. Most of them will not get it. They've been waiting in line all night, literally like all night. Like they've been there for hours and hours and hours at this point, waiting in line. Most of them won't get it. Most of the people in the front were either in a fake line or were somewhere else. There's a guy, see, he's getting like trampled over there. He's out of there. It's crazy. Notice most people going that way. There's way fewer coming through. The craze is real. The desire to have these cards is real. And we're going to discuss what led to this, but it is just wild. The first person to get their Lorcana bot was actually another exhibitor because they're already in there before anybody could even come in line. So that's just, hey, it pays to be friends with the companies, huh? It's all about the networking. Just crazy. Okay, so before we discuss exactly, and I'm going to go into it, we got a lot of detail. We got some history to go over, some graphs. We're going to have it all. But I want to give a huge shout out to Into the AM. They make fantastic shirts just like this one. This is actually their new vintage style shirts. You can see the fit is typically about the same. It's slightly thicker. It's a little bit of a softer feel. The other one's more velvety. I also got another one here. Anyway, cool new style of shirt. Very comfortable. So go ahead and check that out. They obviously have a 30% off sale right now, but they're always having a sale. That being said, this 30% off is like gone like a couple hours after I post this video. So definitely check out the link below and use the code down there for an extra 10% off. That's right, 10% off plus on any sale. Go ahead and check them out. They are awesome. They have some fantastic new shirts. So right here, you can see some of their new stuff. They're doing some like Norse stuff. I love seeing the rise of the Norse stuff. Obviously, wolves, always cool. They're doing a lot of front and back ones. You see that here, you'll see that here, you'll see that here. Anytime you see the little circle there, that's what that means. But they have like samurai, spacemen. They have skulls galore, obviously. Just UFO stuff, owl stuff, outdoors stuff. They have a ton. Fantastic shirts. The fit, the feel, the quality is all great. And it's all at a good price, especially with those sales. So go ahead and check them out. Down in the description below, I'll link to that. And again, use that code. It'll save you 10%. Guys, thank you so much. And thank you Into the AM for supporting this video. Now, let's dive in. So this is on the worldwide leader of Disney park news. I shared this briefly before, so I'm going to run through this fairly quickly. I've already have in a previous video. You can go and check that out. It's literally like 2 videos before this. So the organizational failures lead to dangerous mob at opening of Gen Con 2023 and Disney Lorcana release. And again, this is stuff outside of even gaming news. This is just Disney news. First guy in line was an exhibitor, as I said, so that sucks. While a friend who's been in line since midnight are getting crushed by 5,000 people somewhere towards the back. Get it together, Gen Con. Indeed, look at that. Insanity. This Gen Con was the most attended Gen Con ever, and it looks like half of the people were there for Lorcana. Crazy, though. It actually punch your badge. Make sure you're not buying more. When the doors did open, the situation only became more dangerous as everyone tried to go inside at once. Our reporters were separated and one was slammed and trapped against the door by the rush of people. They literally couldn't leave. They were just with the door and a mob of people going through until it was over. It was pure insanity. As you saw, that like 15-second window for the disabled people to get in just to get bum rushed by the other people, just crazy. So, here's Disney Lorcana cards are already selling for hundreds of dollars. In fact, much more. An enchanted version of Sleeping Beauty's Aurora sold for $250, a Stitch sold for $325, and Elsa sold for as much as $750. An enchanted Simba is listed for different sellers for $350, $1,000, $2,500, for example, and the final value could be $30 to $30, $5,000, anywhere in between, or much more down the line. A set of cards exclusive to the last year's D23 will likely forever be the most expensive pieces in the game, though. These 6 cards, Mickey Mouse, Cruella de Vil, Elsa, Captain Hook, Maleficent, Robin Hood, and Stitch, were selling for $2,000 during the event. $2,000 up front. I'm gonna show you an even bigger example of that coming up. Huge, like multiple times. But less than a year later are now listed at $20,000. Even this could seem like pennies in a few years if the game kicks off. If the game kicks off. Now, why are we talking about money? We're talking about a game. How's the gameplay? Doesn't matter. We're going to go to this. This is a previously unannounced 6 rarity for Lorcana. This is exactly what these companies lean into. They purposely, the whole booster pack, the rarities, the foils, the alternate art, all of it is meant to make this craze. It's meant to make this happen, and it works. And they're just leaning into it more and more and more. You've seen all the cards from our first release in the Disney Lorcana TCG Companion, but we saved a very special surprise for you, announcing enchanted cards. Remember, I just mentioned those really expensive ones. An extremely rare type of card featuring exciting alternate artwork for some of the cards found in the first chapter. Note, this is not for gameplay. This is not to make the game better. It's meant to make investors and buyers more. And I mean investors. I'll show you one in a minute. Enchanted cards are also feature ink wash foil, a beautiful foil trim I previously only seen in the D23 Expo 2022 promo cards. So this is going to be huge. In fact, they're asking, hey, go ahead and go to social media. If you do that, you'll get special stuff. They want you to announce this. They want to, oh my gosh, look what I pulled, right? We're going over here to the Gen Card Heist. That's right. Before the Gen Con even started and that happened, there was more TCG craziness going on at Gen Con where people stole $30,000 worth of Magic the Gathering cards. Now, how can Magic the Gathering cards on one pallet be worth 300,000? Not 30, I said that wrong. 300,000? Quite easy. They're worth a ton of money because they're super rare and hard to get, and they have cards that are very special in some way. That's how it works. So you can see them taking off with it. Why would these 2 game developers, by the way, risk doing this for 300,000? Because that 300,000 can only go up pretty much as more people open those packs. They now have the ones that are, it gets rarer and rarer and rarer as time goes on. That's why. It's an investment. It's like, maybe I'll just retire to Mexico and still have a booster pack a year or so to, fund it. I know that math doesn't work out, but I think that's kind of the idea. This craze of what could I possibly get? It could be worth well over that, right? Okay, so here is Nostalgics. I'm going to focus on crowdfunding because they show this craze very well, but I'm also going to be showing some retail stuff and even some YouTube stuff in the craze around this. I covered this last year and I commented on how it made $1 million. How did this game make $1 million when it just kind of came out of nowhere? It doesn't really show a huge amount of gameplay, right? What it is showing right off the bat, right, is numbered sets, right? Extra special stuff, exclusive stuff. They actually lean into this. So you get first edition on anything here. You get first print run even. They talk about everything that's going on there. Day 0 sold out. Yeah, that's right. You get it marked if it's the first day. The reason they're marking these special things is to build up rarity so that investors can buy this. This is a very typical thing with a free-to-play game on like a mobile game or something. They think of like Raid Shadow Legends, stuff like that. What they do is they have what's called whales. Whales are the people that spend a ton of money. Okay, that's what a whale is. Now, whales only have significance if there's a whole bunch of free-to-play players. In other words, there's people not spending any money, there's people spending a little bit of money, and those people need to be super impressed and interested in the people spending a lot of money, so that the people spending a lot of money can interact with them in various ways, whether it's selling things to them and, making them, want to buy more and stuff like that. It just generates buzz, right? But if it's a dead game, then it's not worth anything, right? It has to have some kind of following. So it's a balancing act. It needs to be popular enough for people to play, but interesting enough for the whales. And what you market towards is the whales. An example, you have a bookstore, okay? Some guy walks in every single day, spends $1 to buy a little leaflet or, a bookmark, right? And then leaves. Another guy comes in maybe once a month and he buys $10,000 of books. Literally that difference, dollar versus 10,000, like 100, like it's just crazy amount, right? Okay, so he comes to do that. What customer are you going to focus on? The bookmark guy's there a lot more often. He's your bread and butter customer, but he ain't spending what the other guy is. He won't spend that much in his lifetime. For as long as you have that store, he will not spend that much. So you focus on the whales. Same thing here. They're making a trading card game, but they're focused on people that will spend a lot. So, for instance, if we scroll down here, you're going to see something kind of interesting. I only just now reached halfway at $1,000. First edition Grand Hero, 47 backers, right? You keep going, you keep going, you keep going, and wouldn't you know it, 10 people gave $8,888. Now, why would you do that? Why would you spend $4,000, $8,000 on this? I mean, sure, you get a whole bunch of booster packs and decks and stuff, which again, first edition, foil stamped, special, ultra rare, only appreciates in value, because it's obviously not for gameplay. It's not even for retail, because that's priced wrong, right? It's this right here. Create a card with Nostalgic Team and choose to either receive a 100 times exclusive print run, that is key, I will talk about that soon, of them, or have your card included in our next set with a name credit. I guarantee most people are going to go for this, because what this means is this is now one of the rarest things you can possibly get. And boy, oh boy, has that been proven to be very, very popular and very, very worth the money, depending on the game. Okay, so why would you want this? Why would you want a limited print run of some like alternate art or something like that, right? A special card that you made. Because of this. This actually just came out as amateur drawings of Pokemon set to fetch tens of thousands at an auction and wake up a $5 million Pikachu Illustrator sale. Now, I'm not going to read through all of this, but what this is saying, and again, I'll link to all of this down below. There's a lot we're going to go over, is that these cards were given as a promotion in a very limited way, and people who won the art thing got 100 copies. You'll notice a similarity here, 100 copies of that. In other words, then they could do with it as they would. They could give it out, they could keep it all, they could burn it, they could sell it later on. And some of these are starting to actually be sold. And because they are so rare, and because the Pokemon craze, I'll get into why that's the case, is so big right now, that they're selling for like $5 million. $5 million. Now suddenly, your investment in $8,888 seems like, hey, shoot, it's probably safer than stocks almost. As long as the game seems to be doing good, that's fine. Now, again, it can't just all be investors. It needs to have people in there. I recently covered an NFC card thing by Come On, and they had the same issue where the only people interested in the like Bitcoin kind of NFC stuff were just like supposed to sell to themselves, which isn't as worth it. You got to sell to like chumps who don't know any better, right? So like that's what that is. But that is why they're doing stuff like that, because Pokemon has already done it. It's like this whole sub industry of like not necessarily gambling, but definitely like risk investment for these board games, as opposed to, again, the games. Notice I haven't talked about gameplay at all. Because nobody's talking about the gameplay for Lorcana either. They're just talking about the big line and how rare it is and all this other kind of stuff. Okay, next up we have Grand Archive TCG, another one that made about $1 million. And we're going to get into like how these work, but I'm going to scroll through here. Now, first of all, this has been updated. When it first launched, it had next to zero gameplay. Next to zero. It was mostly just cards and rarity. So if you go through here, you're going to see stuff, right, where they added a little bit more of the gameplay. But then soon afterwards, collector rares. Grand Archive's pinnacle of collective cards. That's why it's the TCG. You're supposed to trade and collect them, not necessarily even play them. So you have artist-signed cards, exclusive extended art frames, no two signatures are alike. 1 in 360 packs contains a collector rare, only found in the first edition booster packs. Again, rare on top of rare on top of rare on top of rare. And then of that, the foil scarcity. Only 1 in 8 packs contain a foil card. So if you get a foil card of one of these, it's now like rares. Okay, there's just a huge amount of limitedness here. Print reports, they're going to make sure that you know exactly the stats so you can invest smartly. Again, we're not talking about gameplay here. We're talking about making a financial investment. Print run information will be made fully available in all products before official release dates. Population reports will be published for high rarity cards for each first edition release. This includes rare foils, super rares, super rare foils, and obviously collector rares. So in other words, you will always have the information to make a smart business transaction with this game. Because it's not even really a game. At least that's not what's pumping up the numbers here. Now, interesting enough, they tried to undo this. This is crossed out. Our plan to counteract this, binds and collectability, is to release unlimited edition versions of Dawn of Ashes products at the same time we ship our Kickstarter editions of the product. And then they cross out and says, we have decided to change how Unlimiteds will release. Unlimited will now release at least a month after their first edition counterparts. This is based off feedback of the community and distributors. In other words, we want scarcity first, then make it to where people can actually play the game. It's just funny to see that. So again, it's all about collecting. The G part's kind of forgotten about. In fact, the trade part's kind of more buy, collect games. It's like a BCG. Okay, so this is Pine Island Games. I'm going to be covering, they did a kind of a deep dive in this, which was very interesting to see because they were saying the exact same things I did. I'm going to go and follow them because they've organized it quite well for me, so it's very convenient here, and I'll give them a shout out, of course, too. What they do in their About section here is they're just a publishing company, so obviously they're semi-interested in this kind of stuff because obviously it would be nice to publish a game like this, right? So, the bizarre world of speculative TCGs. It's one of the most bizarre Kickstarter funding charts that I'd seen. This was for Dream Book TCG. You can see this right here. It's just kind of a little card game thing here. It raised $185,000 in the first 2 days and has subsequently bled almost $10,000 a day and canceled and reduced pledges. Now, this is what a normal Kickstarter looks like. It's this right here. The L-shaped chart, this one where it just goes straight down from a high investment, is characteristic of what I'm calling speculative TCGs, which are almost all TCGs on crowdfunding or any new ones launching like Lorcana. Collectible games with some level or meaningful level of funding driven by speculative buyers, i.e. backers motivated by potential price appreciation as a collectible rather than pure gameplay. There have been 18 trading card game Kickstarters that have raised over $100,000. This was in 2022. At least they could find 15 of these launched in the past 12 months. As you can see, obviously, the prices have increased a lot. 15 of these launched in the past 12 months. So 15 of the 18 are just brand new that year. Average pledge tier per backer is an astronomical $455 for a card game. And 11 of these exhibit the unusual L-shaped funny chart. So most of them go really high. Who knows? Get that first print run, first day print run. And then, okay, I'm judging this isn't going to be popular enough and drop out because there's not enough non-investors actually buying this. It's mostly just investors hoping to make money. So they have it all broken down here. It's very interesting. This is a new wave of trading card games whose success is driven in part by investor speculation rather than organic gameplay. All right, so next up we have the $1 Million Campaign, the first one here. In February of this year, 2022, a playing card Kickstarter made waves with a $1.9 million campaign, which is unheard of in the playing card space. PlayingCardDecks.com did an excellent write-up of this campaign. The reason Playing Card Decks is there is because this actually wasn't even going to be a TCG. Driving the astronomical funding was collectible cards for the TCG MetaZoo that were included alongside the Playing Card Decks. All right, so here it is right here. And as you can see, this actually did really, really well. And it's one of those things where, again, of course, there's a lot of people up here at this high mark, right? Now, this was actually just trading cards, like normal plain trading cards, not even a TCG really. These are just different decks to play like poker with or whatever, right? That's fun. What they're focusing on is this right here, right? So let's zoom in on this. We aren't stopping at playing cards though. Come on, we are MetaZoo after all. There has to be a TCG card. Enter our MetaZoo USPCC promo box. Each tier comes with at least one promo box, and each promo box comes with 10 one-card booster packs. These cards will be revealed throughout the campaign, right? So that's what they're doing. And if you notice, this was the first one, the actual TCG. And again, back then, it did not do a whole lot. But now suddenly, everybody wants these promos. Suddenly, it's selling like hotcakes. It's crazy. It's impossible to know what portion of MetaZoo backers participated in the campaign primarily for gameplay purposes or speculative investment. Actually, you can look kind of at tiers. Like at some point, people aren't buying them just to play them. It's obviously to sell. However, it is clear that a portion of backers were speculative, and the creators of MetaZoo focused a portion of their marketing into promo MetaZoo as a speculative investment. It's too soon to see. This is from their thing here. It's too soon to know if the game itself help or hurt, or does it even matter? You know, it's similar to Pokemon. You know the majority of people don't play Pokemon, but it's king of collectibles. That's from Rudy, Alpha Investments. I can say this with confidence because they partnered with Alpha Investments, and here's a video from them. So let's go ahead and take a look at Alpha Investments. So you can see here, MetaZoo's playing card campaign exhibited an L-shaped carding fund with a negative funding late into the campaign. Again, same thing where people were like, nah, I'm dumping this, the investment isn't worth it. Compare that to the initial game launch of 2020, which is a much more typical U-shape of an actual game. So who is this Alpha Investments, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at him. Alpha Investments actually somebody I used to watch for a time. He's a bit of, he can find himself in some drama. I'll put it that way. He's a very unique kind of guy. You'll notice a whole lot of Magic the Gathering cards behind him. You'll notice the millions of dollars in the $100,000 Alpha starter opening and $7,000 beta starter opening, and let's watch a $21,000 Magic the Gathering. These are like drug hustlers, but with Magic cards, and that's what Magic the Gathering leans into. They really do, especially lately, and because of rarity and stuff like that, and because of the popularity. So look here. Look at all of this. This is an investor. This is literally his company, Alpha Investments. This is what he does. Is he does this and he tries to decide when is it worth selling an unopened pack because the potential is worth more, so it sells for more, or when is it worth opening it for the singles and selling those because those are actually worth more, stuff like that. And he balances all that kind of stuff out and sells them on eBay and card auctions and stuff like that. So what he does is when something comes out, he just buys a buttload of it, right? This is the people that are buying all these crazy amounts because they're literally, this is their business. It's how they make money. And see, again, investing, profit, stuff like that. You can see here, this is a great little intro for one of his. This is for his Urza Saga booster box opening. But he's just showing off some of his shelves and shelves and shelves and shelves and shelves and shelves and shelves. It just goes on for forever. There's more and more and more and more. That's what we're talking about. This is who they partnered with to show off their game. Now, tell me that's not for investment. Tell me that's for gameplay. Alpha Investors doesn't talk gameplay. He doesn't care about the game. He cares only that he can sell the product. That's his business. I mean, I'm sure he has a passion for it and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, you're not there to show off your gameplay there. You're to show off your rarity and collectability to investors. Those are the people who watch this kind of stuff. So then they go into sorcery and how that goes up, and they experienced a major spike in funding on 319 and 320. You can see that right here. Look at that. Look at that. So initial, and then whoa, look at this bump here. And that coincides with Alpha Investment Video, who they also partnered with. So conservatively, at least whatever NZ is, New Zealand or whatever, $1 million of funding is attributed to speculative buyers. So look at that. That is the power of whales or investors in this. And sorcery, it seems to be a good game. It's not necessarily a bad game. I love Magic the Gathering. I do. I very much enjoy Magic the Gathering. It's a fun game. it doesn't mean it's a bad game, but it's definitely propped up by investments like this. Sorcery was definitely propped up by investments like this. We're going to talk about whether or not this is good or bad in a little bit. So let's talk about the recent craze. Why is this suddenly coming up, right? Why is it in the last 2021 through 2023 been this huge craze? Well, Magic the Gathering was continuing to make Black Lotus sales higher and higher and higher. And then out comes Pokemon and social media craze. Okay, so the top 24 most expensive and rarest Pokemon cards ever sold. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the top one because I want to show you something here. Most expensive Pokemon card of all time? Probably not. I can't wait to show you what the next one will be. An Illustrator, again, one of those limited 100 print cards. That's what's so big about it. Korokoro Comics Promo Pikachu Illustrator card. It was made in 1998. It's a mint. In other words, it was put instantly in something like this. It was never played. It was there to collect even back then. Without a doubt, that's the most expensive, but you'll see that it sold for $195,000 to $200,000. One fetched a whopping $250,000 in 2020, and then in 2021, $375,000. And then suddenly, and February 24th, 2022, it sold for $900,000, and then only a few months later, the $900,000 record was obliterated when a PSA Gem Mint 10 sold for a staggering $6 million. Now, I highlighted this here. Logan Paul was seen wearing a TCG collectible during his WrestleMania debut on April 2nd. According to PSA's own sales database, the rare promo card was sold recently for $6 million. So, Logan Paul, who is that? If you don't know who this guy is, then you're... well, I won't make any judgment calls. I won't make any judgment calls. But, no, seriously, this is, like, notice, again, Pokemon, like that is his big thing here, and it's reported on all sorts of different things. He's this big celebrity, you know, social media guy, and he, buys fake Pokemon cards for 3.5 million, stuff like that. Things have changed. These are the 10 highest funding Kickstarter TCGs that launched prior to the past 12 months, and as you can see, not even close. So, 2022. With Logan Paul doing his stuff, with the MTG stuff going crazy, with all of the crowdfunding starting to really become a bigger thing where more TCGs are actually making money suddenly, and so the more people are making it, it suddenly becomes this craze that leads back to this. It leads to this right here. A quick 10 seconds of freedom for disabled people trying to get into Gen Con before they're like just blasted by fans that just surge in here looking for the next investment, looking for the next craze. Because even if you aren't investing a ton of money into it, a lot of people, especially on Kickstarter and stuff like that, or on rare things like that, they'll buy two. One to sell to pay for the other one. So essentially you got it for free, maybe even made some money off of it. Maybe you buy three and so on the side. There's a lot of that kind of side hustling. People do it with shoes, people do it with PS5s, right? People do it with all that other kind of stuff. And just to a small degree, right? It doesn't have to be anything major. It's just while you're there and they're $125, well, I'll buy two and sell the other one. I'll be able to make some money on it. Even casualness will do that. And the hype from investments, from celebrities, from social media, from the potential of getting something big makes this casual lottery-like situation where you get this. Is this good for the industry? Obviously, this is not. This disorganized mess is not, right? Having people like in wheelchairs being pushed out and cursing at people as they're like run past them to get in line for something, not a good look for the industry, 100%. Is it good to have money and real business come in for the industry, though? In other words, is Lorcana a better game because of the support of investors? Is Magic the Gathering or any of these other ones I've shown you, are they better for it? Now, obviously, if you're just there for the game and there's more people in, like more money going into it, typically a good thing. The thing I would counter with that, and the reason why I'm not so sure about that is because I don't think money is the end-all be-all of positive or negative. Maybe for somebody's paycheck, but not necessarily the quality of the game. Because, like I said, the focus is on these whales, these investors, not the player. And so you get more and more of this limited edition promo, alternate art, stuff like that, and less focus on the actual game. Most free-to-play mobile games die because they're not making content. So for people to actually play, they're making skins and stuff for people to buy because that's the direct line to that. And suddenly you have this game that people have played and are tired of, still trying to sell you stuff, and eventually they just stop and they literally drive away their own audience that they had, or they could have kept them. So long term, I don't think it's better. In fact, it's a very short-term thing, and it leads to a different focus of the game. Like I said, you're not going to focus on the guy coming in every day, spending $1 on a bookmark, but the guy dropping and buying every single Stephen King novel you have. There's going to be a lot there, right? I mean, like, that's the guy you're going to focus on because that's where the money is. It's not necessarily an evil thing to do. It's just obviously you want to cater to the person like that. And the kind of person that wants that wants a chance at making money off of your product. So you're going to give them opportunities by stamping it and doing limited runs and all that other kind of stuff. Guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'd love to have a discussion with you. If this video was helpful for you, if you found it interesting, like the video. Stay tuned for more. Obviously, subscribe for more news, reviews, and deep dives just like this. If you appreciate the amount of research I did on this, it took all day. But I'm happy to do it. I love sharing it with you guys. And of course, Into the AM, link down in the description below. Remember, that sale is almost over. 30% off plus 10% off with the code down there. Go ahead and check them out. They support the channel. Go ahead and support them, and you'll get a great shirt out of it. So it's a win-win, and that you don't even have to be an investor for. Guys, have a great rest of the day. Take care. Bye, guys.